it's a bit different than I originally planned, but yeah, this is my decade review of sport. I was initially going to do this as a video, but I don't know. I just thought maybe a stream. I mean, I'm lazy, so it's a lot easier for me to do. Plus, it lets me like see other people's thoughts on anything I say, or if there's any suggestions or anything I've forgotten. Because I guarantee there will be. Obviously, there will be. I'm not going to be able to go through everything. This will be a slightly biased one as well, because obviously it's going to be mainly football. But it's pretty much just going to be anything that happened in sport that I'm going to say I noticed or experienced. Even I don't really know where I'm going with this. I keep looking now because I've got my phone here for. I did a bit of research. My laptop's not even there, but did a little bit of research before this because I had to. So, yeah, obviously, like we're going through it for like 2010, 2011, 2012, and all through to obviously this year. I hope you all had a good Christmas. Hope Santa Claus brought you everything. Yeah, I'm just trying to set things up at the minute.
Hey there, it's your partner.
Just try and see if I can position this so it's a bit easier for me to read. There we go. Right, yeah, but just apologies for the first 2 minutes. It's just I'm trying to get everything set up, so I can try and get people along to have some input on what they thought was a big sporting moment or whatever. Obviously, 2019 had some pretty huge ones. Then again, obviously the decade as a whole has. So just got your ear around the back on. We're just going to be going to horse race and just something for people to watch. So they're not sat staring at this ugly mug and shouting on about football or whatever. But yeah, obviously you've I'll start with 2010, which we obviously once again this will be a biased thing, so it'll mainly just be things that I took notice of and stuff. And before I get into that, actually, past 2 weeks for Football News Fridays been a bit off. I was going to do it last Friday, but because of Boxing Day and all the games, it was a busy schedule, so I thought I'd just give it a break there. And the week before, I ended up knocking up on my end for recording and stuff, because I'd recorded it twice, but I ended up fucking up, so it didn't save the footage, and then I just got annoyed and fucking gave up. But oh, I feel awkward because I'm doing a video but streaming it. It's a bit weird. It'll be a lot better when a few people come in, but it's mainly just gonna be a video, but just to get a few people in to have some input on what I say, really. So yeah, obviously start of the decade 2010 was pretty good year. It was mainly just the World Cup from my perspective. A lot of events, a lot of things that happened during that World Cup. Obviously, probably the biggest one was Paul the Octopus. Now, some of you might not even know what I mean, but pretty much, I don't know if it's. I think it's every World Cup they try and get like an animal to predict matches and stuff. For the 2010 World Cup in South Africa, the animal in question was Paul the Octopus, who fucking dominated social media because he got the Germany-Spain match correct. I should have done a bit more research into it, but pretty much, yeah, just it was a big thing at the time. Obviously, I think for 2014 World Cup, I don't recall there being any animals predicting it. It wasn't as big of a World Cup as the 2010 one, which was a bit of a letdown because obviously World Cup's biggest footballing event ever. But no, I'd say fucking. It's arguable, obviously, it's my opinion, but I'd personally say the 2010 World Cup was the best one. Just all around, just like the culture in South Africa, like obviously the videos and stuff I'd seen was brilliant. Some of the moments, fucking fantastic. The final, as well, Spain winning, that was great. Very very tense. I remember watching that as a young child. That Iniesta goal, fucking huge goal. Netherlands were unfortunate. Probably didn't help going down to 10 men because of Nigel Dion. But obviously, if you're going to kick someone like that, fucking, you're expecting a red card. Well, I don't think he meant to kick him. I think it mainly just was a. I don't really know. I can't remember. It was a while ago. It looks a bit odd, but I don't know. I guess he was going for the ball. I don't know. But yeah, obviously there's also other things that happened during that World Cup. You know, the Suarez handball against Ghana in the semi-final. That was the I think it was semi-final. Was that a semi-final or third place match? But yeah, that was pretty much the start of his fucking career, really. He's a controversial figure, Suarez. Just he's a fucking like on his day, one of, if not the best striker going. But it's just some of the things he does. I'll get into it as I'm going through, but yeah, obviously the handball against Ghana is pretty much what started it. And then one of the more controversial moments, round of 16 match. I think pretty sure it was round of 16. Yeah, England versus Germany. Now I know there'll be some people who'll watch it. Well, I'm hoping there'll be some people who'll watch it back. But obviously, if people to watch it back all the way through and get my like full opinion on it all, like obviously some people that'll have seen that will probably laugh or whatever. But that Lampard disallowed goal was pretty much the fucking catalyst for getting goal line technology and all this stuff into the game to help it. Because that was ridiculous. Honestly, that dominated their headlines for so long. I think it was up until the point of goal line technology coming into place. It was one of the key talking points simply because of the fact that it was disallowed, but it went well over. It was like, I'd say halfway between the goal line and the back of the net. But that was definitely one of the big talking points of that World Cup. I mean, obviously, especially in England, because we were. Something like that can ruin momentum. So if that goal had been counted, you never know what could have happened. It's obviously it's a woulda, coulda, shoulda kind of moment. You know, ifs and buts. Unfortunately, don't cut it, and it didn't end well for us. Obviously, 4-1 loss. It was a pretty bad one to deal with. Obviously, I was young at the time, so it wasn't so bad for me. But it was a very controversial moment, to say the least. Obviously, there's other moments involving England. That Rob Green fucking cock up is definitely one of them. I kind of sent his career into turmoil. Obviously, every goalkeeper mistake can do that, but it's just, if you're going to make a mistake, obviously it can't be helped if you do make a mistake, but on the biggest stage, you can't recover from that. I'll probably go into it about Karius in the Champions League final later on, but you just can't. That's about it for the World Cup. Another thing as well in 2010, probably the biggest surprise of all, from what I can think of, would be Fulham making it to the Europa League final. Now, especially if you consider where Fulham have gone now, they're in the Championship. They're doing a bit mediocre, really, considering the calibre of the squad they've got. But you know, to make it to the Europa League final obviously is a big thing. Any cup final really, it's a big thing. Whether it's the League Cup, FA Cup, Europa League, Champions League, the Club World Cup. Obviously Liverpool are getting grief for that in the past week. But it's realistically, obviously any trophy is a good thing. Obviously I'm saying this because Newcastle never win a fucking trophy apart from the Championship. But obviously getting to the final of anything would be a good achievement, because obviously it means your hard work has came through and you've made it to your desired destination. But at the same time, you know, obviously there is bigger cup competitions that you can make. Obviously the Champions League is obviously better than Europa League. FA Cup's better than League Cup. Obviously this is my opinion. Other people can disagree. But yeah, good achievement for them though. They had a really good side at the time as well. Clint Dempsey helped the USA out, especially for World Cup qualification and in the World Cup, along with Donovan, Howard, players like that. It was a pretty good World Cup for America. I mean, that last minute fucking goal to get them to the knockout stages was fucking huge. But yeah, I don't really know what to say. I'd prefer to have other people here to help with suggestions, or even just a few people that fucking say. I'm also not really used to doing this sort of stuff as the fucking stream, but 2011 was a bit of a quiet year, I think, from my research. Only thing that I've got really is the Vladimir Klitschko David Haye boxing match, which was a big match to go for. I've forgotten to check a bit out for these horses. Obviously Klitschko won that match because of what David Haye and his camp have came out and said was a broken toe. Obviously whether that's bullshit or not, I don't really know, but Haye has had problems with injury. I think it's been following that fight. It's kind of just let him down with it mainly. So yeah, that's all I've got for 2011. So 2012 obviously was dominated by the London Olympics for England. 2012 was a pretty good year actually for sport. Obviously, you had the London Olympics, that was pretty good. I got to watch the women's football at St James's Park. I managed to get tickets through with my school, so that was pretty good. France-Colombia played. I always remember that match. That was the second match that day at St James's. I'm trying to think what the first one was. I'll always remember that because the people that were sat behind me were chanting for fucking Colombia, and me and one of my friends at the time, I don't really speak to them too much now, but we would get taken their piss. I was chanting for France. Obviously at that age you pretty much just do anything and everything, so obviously the London Olympics was pretty good. Michael Phelps became the most decorated Olympian during that year as well, so it was a great achievement for him. Obviously the swimmers, probably one of the big, I wouldn't, from my opinion, he's probably the biggest name to come off of swimming. Obviously you got Tom Daley for diving, but I'd say Michael Phelps is kind of the one that dominates the swimming scene. There was also a new world record set during the Olympics. Usain Bolt, 9.63 seconds to complete 100 metres. Fastest man to ever do it as of today, as far as I know. Obviously there could be people who've done it faster, we don't really know. But yeah, obviously regardless of who, you're going to be proud of that achievement, regardless of whether it's for 100 metre sprint, 400 metre relay, whatever. Obviously a world record is a great achievement, but to be able to say that you're the fastest man alive is definitely got to be something to cherish, and it'll be something that you'll take with you to your grave. Yeah, there was also some pretty big footballing moments. Obviously, most notable will be Martin Tyler screaming Aguero. No one will ever. That will be a moment that will live forever. Like, that title race between United and City is obviously in some people's minds the greatest title race ever, simply because of that final day and the pressure that was on City, and the fact that they were 2-1 down in the 90th minute to bring it back to 3-2 is phenomenal, especially considering the pressure from United obviously winning at Sunderland. Comfortable 1-0 for them. But yeah, no, I'll never forget that though. I remember sitting watching Sky Sports News when it was the final day of the season, and just to relive that moment would be something special. Obviously I'm not a fan of either club, but I was jumping around. I'm not even gonna lie. It's one of those moments where you're just in utter shock and you don't know what to do. Like, the fact that City had almost bottled the league, and to be going down to obviously QPR were a decent side, don't get me wrong, but it's just a team of City's calibre should not be like if you think about some of the players he had, like Joe Hart in his prime at that point. Obviously he's not really that good of a keeper, but you know, you had Vincent Kompany, Balotelli, Aguero, Dzeko. So he had a fantastic squad, really. There's no hiding that. There was also Champions League win for Chelsea against Bayern Munich, or you could even say Drogba winning the Champions League. You know, like Scott equalising with his header to then score the winning penalty is obviously an unbelievable moment for the players. For the fans, it would be amazing. It's just like Bayern, like Pep as a manager, is just he's a good manager. Don't get me wrong, but I like personally I'd say he's overrated. But like to be able to have a squad of that caliber, and then to crumble like that, definitely going to affect both like in the team and the coaching staff. Like no one's going to want to be the team on the wrong end of that. Boy, it's unfortunately it's a thing that can happen. As we get into 2013, obviously the biggest talking point from 2013 would probably be the incident involving Oscar Pistorius. Obviously, it's not a good thing to talk about. I don't want to spend too long on this, but it was definitely a dark moment for sport. Just like the evidence from my research I've just got down here. From the evidence, it was indicated that it was an intentional murder. Now, I'm not inclined to make to judge whether he's guilty or not, simply because of just a few news reports I've seen on the case. But obviously, it's not the easiest thing to recover from. Not really heard anything. As far as I know, I've not heard anything about Oscar or the case as a whole. But yeah, it's definitely a dark day in sport as a whole, simply because of just obviously it wasn't really a sport. I don't know how to say this. A sport caused incident. I don't know actually, but it's a dodgy thing. There was also Kevin Prince Boateng walking off the pitch due to the racism during his game when he was playing at AC Milan. Italy's a bad country for racism. Like even now, like it's a complete joke. Like their thing to stop racism, they had like the Nike patterned football things around like a monkey face, which is just fucking disgusting. But for some reason, Italians seem to can't get around the fact that it's not okay to do shit like that. Like someone had to be okay with that and be like, oh yeah, this is fine, let's just send it out. Like no, you can't be doing shit like that in 2019. Like fuck's sake. But yeah. There's also the Suarez bite. Like I said before, he's a bit of a controversial footballer. I don't know what made him do it, but obviously that time off the season after clearly fucking, I don't know, kick-started something, because Liverpool went on to almost win the league. I just don't know why Suarez bit Ivanovic. Obviously he bit someone else, I can't remember his name, when he was at Ajax in, I think it was 2011. Yeah, 2011. But it's a thing he's done, really. Obviously it's it's something I can't really put into words, really. he's just became a meme because of it. Yeah, there was also the record transfer for Gareth Bale, 91 million euros, who at the time obviously was the most expensive player at the time. Obviously now there's Neymar, which I'll get into later, but he obviously took that most expensive transfer spot off of Cristiano Ronaldo, who he joined in signing for Real Madrid. Apologies, I'm kind of just fidgeting because I don't like to sit still. But obviously I mean, even now, the most expensive player, that's ridiculous money, but at that time, like 91 mil was just, to be honest, it didn't seem as blown out of proportion as it is now, the most expensive transfer, because obviously they were a lot more rounded, like everyone was a lot fucking cheaper. For some reason the price of places just skyrocketed, no idea how or why, but yeah. There was also the retiring Sir Alex Ferguson, who ended his managerial reign as champions, 20th time that Man United had won the league. I'll get a chicken hospital on. But yeah, obviously it's a great achievement to end as the champion, but yeah, obviously it's just Man U have crumbled since then. Yeah. Shows how much of a difference Ferguson made at the club. There was also Wimbledon, which Andy Murray had won, which also dominated England. Some reason it's just that the whole country just got around. Obviously it would be the whole country, because not everyone's a fan of tennis and not everyone's a fan of Andy Murray. I'm not too big of a fan, but at the time, obviously Andy Murray to win that was a huge achievement, because he was the first person since, I think it was either 69 or 66, or even in the 60s. Fred Perry, I'm pretty sure his name was, yeah, who had won it then. Obviously it was a while and a great achievement for Andy, so I'll give him fair play to that. But yeah, under 2014 was not so much of a quiet year, but it was mainly football. Obviously for me it was, on my revised notes, it was only football. Obviously the big talking point was the World Cup. Germany 7, Brazil 1. Like, football had changed from that point. Like, the fact that a team like Brazil, obviously they were missing Neymar due to injury. Thiago Silva, I'm pretty sure, was missing due to a suspension. But just, Germany in 2014 were a dangerous team. It's just mad to think about that World Cup as a whole. Obviously Goethe winning it with a fantastic goal against Argentina. but it's just Germany just fucking annihilated that World Cup. Like, there was a video I'd seen and it summed it up perfectly. It was this fucking huge monster or whatever, huge, this gigantic monster who was just killing everyone left, right, and centre. I think it was an advert for something, I can't remember what, but it pretty much summed up that performance for Germany at the World Cup. Put on better than nothing again. I'm just wasting chips at this point, but obviously that World Cup was England's worst. Roy Hodgson was one dodgy cunt. Oh, well, I remember actually the 2012 Euros, Zlatan with best goal of the decade, that bicycle kick against England was fucking ridiculous, to say the least. Best goal of the decade, I'd say, without a shadow of a doubt. 2015, bit of a quiet year again. Well, obviously these weren't all quiet years, it's just the research I've managed to gather. Obviously I could have probably put a bit more into it, but obviously there was the Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao fight, which was hyped up pretty immensely, and I thought it was a bit of a disappointment. The fact that it went to unanimous decision, considering the calibre of both fighters, it's a bit of a kick in the teeth for everyone who'd paid to watch the fight. Yeah, a bit of a letdown. There was also the debut of MSN, Messi, Suarez and Neymar, and their treble-winning season, the Copa del Rey, the Spanish League and the Champions League. Champions League win against Juventus. It'll probably be most famous for Dani Alves going down that elevator. It was a bit weird, but yeah, not too much from what I've got on that year. 2016. Don't care what anyone says. Dominated by the fact that Leicester had won the league, despite the fact that the bookies had put them as 5,000 to 1 odds to win that league, considering the season beforehand with Nigel Pearson, they just scraped relegation. Yeah, just scraped survival after almost being relegated. It's mad to put into perspective the fact that they signed Claudio Ranieri, and then Eden Hazard scoring that great goal against Tottenham to send the title Leicester's way. Was just the scenes I'd seen on Facebook was fucking mad. It's one of those moments that you just like, kind of like the Aguero goal, you just can't put it into words how mad that moment is. Like, obviously fucking no one would have thought they'd win the league. Chelsea had a bit of a dodgy season as well, finishing around the mid-table. And there's the Euros, a time that fans would like to forget. Obviously, we drew 1-1 with Russia. We beat Wales 3-0. That was a good match. Jamie Vardy was supposed to have dominated that. The World Cup was kind of dominated by the fact that Will Grigg was on fire, which pretty much kick-started that chant. it was just mad, really. Unfortunately for the England national team, the tournament was mainly just based around the fact that we ended up bottling it against Iceland. After going 1-0 up, we crumbled and went 2-1 down and lost that match, and then it was obviously all the bother, especially after the Russia match with England fans and the Russia fans. It's just the hooligans, really, just kind of ruining the sport. It's not a good thing, really. Obviously, because there's been instances like that Liverpool fan after the Roma match, who was put in, I think they were put into a coma for a bit. I don't know. I think Kevin Murphy, I think his name was. Don't quote me on that, but obviously, and then there's times when there's been people who've gone to the match and died. Obviously, no person on earth should have to go to a football game and not return home. It's one of the unfortunate things in football, but it's literally just hooligans who just think that football's an excuse to just go for a fight, really. And then obviously the European Championships, the final, even Ronaldo was injured. So he was trying to do it from the sidelines, trying to be the assistant manager. And at that current moment in time, Eder, the Swansea striker who scored the decisive goal against France to win Portugal the Euros, a big moment. Obviously the next Euros are this summer. I look forward to that because it'll be a pretty close affair, I'd say. Maybe we've got a lot better of a chance this time than we did last time. But yeah, 2017, there's some huge fucking moments of 2017. 2017 was probably one of the best years for sport. I'll start with the boxing. Obviously you've got the Anthony Joshua Vladimir Klitschko fight. That was a good boxing match. AJ had won that. Great, good little career shoot up for AJ. Obviously Klitschko was well past it at that point, but to be honest, still to beat one of the best heavyweights to ever grace the ring is obviously gonna fucking boost your confidence massively. There was also the Floyd Mayweather Conor McGregor boxing match, which fucking dominated the world. I think it was definitely one of the biggest talking points in England, if not the biggest talking point. Just to be honest, for McGregor to go from the world of UFC to boxing is obviously quite the push. It wasn't too bad of a fight for him, but it's just obviously I think everyone knew Mayweather was going to win, but it was unfortunate for Conor to have lost in that fashion, because obviously some people could say that the referee jumped in a bit too early to call off the fight. Obviously they're there to do their job, so if they feel that it's the right time to go in and stop the fight, then obviously they can feel free to do that. But yeah, boxing, very good year for boxing. The NFL had exploded because of one man in particular, Tom Brady. He stole the show at the Super Bowl. Played a massive part in the New England Patriots coming back to beat the Falcons. I've not really. I mean, I'm a bit meh on the NFL and American football as a whole. Really, I'm not too big on it, but it fucking dominated my social media the morning after Super Bowl, simply because of Tom Brady saving the Patriots. But yeah, I pretty much boosted American football up in England. There was also, in the world of darts, Phil the Power Taylor retiring at the end of the year in the World Darts Championship. And the final, quite the shock. 2017 was quite the fucking year for upsets and shocks. Like, obviously Rob Cross, his first major darts tournament he'd ever joined. He stunned the world. I wouldn't so much say the world. He definitely fucking stunned me, caught me off guard, by beating Phil Taylor in the final. Obviously not exactly the send-off Phil would have wanted, but he had such a career that fucking shot Rob Cross up. He's one of the big names, really, because of that win. Obviously this year's final, today's final even, Peter Wright versus Michael van Gerwen. So I'm still within a chance to get my predictions correct. I might put a bet on that, actually. Yeah, unfortunately, Sharon Fairlock didn't make it as far. I can't remember who it was that fucking beat her, but obviously to be honest, for her to be the first woman to make it into the World Darts Championship is a fucking astronomical achievement. Women's football in the past decade has exploded. Is not even the word for it. It's astronomical how big it's changed from the start of the year to now. You know, I'll get into it in a little bit, but it's just mad how far women have gone in the world of sport, never mind football. Yeah, speaking of football, where do I start? Barcelona 6, Paris Saint-Germain 1 is definitely a good place to start, I think. One of the best things in football is definitely its comebacks. You know, Istanbul, you know, being down 3-0 for Liverpool against, at that time, the AC Milan side. Like, I know I've said it previously, but legit, you cannot put into words how fucking good that side was. You had like Nesta, Pirlo, fucking, I think Shevchenko was there at the time. It's you can't fathom how Liverpool did it, but it was just a fantastic achievement for them. Obviously, Man U to come back from 3-0 down against Tottenham a long time ago to win 5-3. That was a pretty good comeback. City to obviously come back from 2-1 down in the last few minutes of the game in such pressurised circumstances. Fucking brilliant. Obviously, I didn't mention it, 2011, Newcastle 4, Arsenal 4, that comeback was fucking brilliant. I actually got a poster from the match magazine, I think it was Match of the Day magazine. At that time, Comeback Kings was just Tiote when he was celebrating like that. Oh, God rest his soul. Bless him. He was one of the best midfielders we ever had, Tiote. Obviously, any Newcastle fans that watch this, you know, if you've got Cheick Tiote, Mo Diarmi in centre mid, top-notch partnership. But yeah, obviously, and then for Barcelona to come back from 4-0 down, I'll get into another comeback later on. But for Barca to come back from 4-0 down against PSG in the Champions League is ridiculous. I think many people would have written Barcelona off for that race. But like, I went to school the next day after that into science, and the fucking science teacher had that match up on the board, like not even the match, just the score. And it was, I didn't actually know at the time about that. I only noticed on the morning after when I got in. Caught me way the fuck off guard. Especially considering the fact that, like, when it was 3-0 up for Barca and PSG had scored to make it 5-3 on aggregate, I can guarantee the vast majority of people would have written Barcelona off instantly as soon as fucking that goal sunk in the back of the net for PSG. But Neymar scored a fantastic free kick, good penalty for Neymar, and that last goal, when it just dunked over PSG's fucking entire fucking team, and Roberto put the ball in the back of the net, like, it was a thing. An earthquake was fucking recorded in Spain because of that goal. It's ridiculous. Like, this is why I'd say football is the best sport in the world. That's my opinion, but it's hard to disagree. Obviously, it depends on what anyone else says. Obviously, there could be some people who say rugby is, or cricket, or table tennis, or whatever, and obviously everyone's got their own opinions and their own reasons behind it, but unless you can prove to me that a comeback or any huge moments in football, like the Leicester League win, the many fucking comebacks, you know, these big cup finals and stuff, like, I can't see in my eyes anything better than that. It's obviously obviously you're entitled to your opinion, but that's my opinion. And then obviously end of 2017, the Ballon d'Or, Ronaldo tying it to make it 5 Ballon d'Ors each, to dominate. And when I say dominate, I mean fucking dominate the world of football for that decade, making it 5-5 each on Ballon d'Ors. It's before Messi I think no one would have ever thought one person would reach 5 Ballon d'Ors, never mind 2. It's to be able to keep up such consistency for such a long time is ridiculous, and the fact that honestly, me and all of you that would end up watching this, regardless of whether it's no one or 3 people or fucking hundreds of or millions of people, we are all the luckiest people on earth, like us football fans, to be able to live with, like, the world's been a thing for what, 3-4 billion years, and the fact that all of you and myself have all made it nice to like this point where we've had Ronaldo and Messi dominate football for such a long time is something different. But speaking of that, in 2018, Ronaldo stealing the show against Spain at the World Cup, which shot off, was one of the best World Cups out there. That hat-trick Ronaldo scored in the first week, I think it was the second match day of the World Cup. Obviously the first one for Ronaldo, no sorry, Portugal, and split for Ronaldo, Portugal and Spain. But that hat-trick was just phenomenal. Considering people were writing him off, he just shut them all up, really, didn't he? That free kick was fantastic. I always remember watching that free kick. Obviously, both Ronaldo and Messi went out in the same stage. I'm pretty sure it was the round of 16. Argentina going out to France and Portugal going out to Uruguay. Obviously, I don't think anyone will realise. Well, I don't think that there will be another World Cup where they will both make it. Obviously, they could be. I could be wrong. But that could have been the last World Cup for both of them. And it's mad. Speaking of mad, Germany going out in the quarterfinals. No, not even the quarterfinals. The fucking group stage. It shook the world. I don't even care. The fact that the German side, obviously there would have been a few of them like fucking Miroslav Klose, Podolski, players like that. Obviously they'll have retired, but the Germans, I don't think anyone can fathom how Germany actually lost against South Korea and Mexico to get kicked out. Obviously they beat Sweden. Last minute Toni Kroos free kick was a really good free. Wait, it wasn't even a free kick. It was it was build up from a free kick, but it wasn't a free kick. If you know what I mean. I'm just shouting on really. But it's the World Cup was something special, really. It also almost came home. Obviously, there's probably going to be a few people that'll laugh at this, but I couldn't give a fuck. It still hurts me now. Because it's the fact that the world had so much belief that the country had so much belief that we could have won it. And I mean, it could have been worse. We could have went out in the finals. But that Kieran Trippier free kick going in against Croatia was fucking amazing. The scenes I'd seen on Facebook, you know, like the HQ bar down in Dunstable. I can't believe that's closed. Actually, I'm still gutted about that. Obviously, like beer gardens in and around the country. You know, the Life Centre at Newcastle. There was, I think, Hyde Park. It was a fantastic summer, and I would love to do it again. And obviously, this summer won't be as big because it's the Euros and the World Cup's bigger. But I can't wait to go through it again. Hopefully, a better outcome. But based on my my calculations and all this shit. We should be finishing second. So 2022 first. Just saying. I've got a tenner on it, so I could show you right now. Actually, I've got £10 on England to win the World Cup. But obviously, to be honest, Croatia played really well that World Cup. It was a great performance from them. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, they'd surprised a lot of people. But obviously they fell short to France in the final. Here we go, I've got it. I know it's hard for you to see it. England to win it. I've got a tenner on it. Probably won't happen. I'll be completely honest, because everything I've hoped for just doesn't go well. But I've got a tenner on England to win the World Cup, and I don't see how we can't. The squad we'll have for the Euros is mad. Never mind the World Cup. But anyway, obviously France won that World Cup 4-2 against Croatia. 2018 was a pretty good year as well, actually. Trio Decimo for Real Madrid, winning their third Champions League in a row with Zidane, was a fantastic achievement. Obviously, it is partly because of Karius. I mean, not even partly, mainly because of Karius. The mistake for Benzema to score, and then the Bale second Bale goal even was ridiculous. Should probably put a bet on for the horse. I forgot to last one. Go pretty as a pistol. The overhead kick though was fantastic. Obviously, so was Ronaldo's against Juventus. But it was unfortunate for Liverpool, really, because they had done really well to get to the final. But obviously the keeper had let them down massively. I'm not even gonna hide that. Karius had let them down big style for the final. But at the end of the day, they won it this year, so good on them for that. Karius is currently, I think he's on loan to Besiktas. I think there was a couple of mock-ups for him, but I think he's been doing pretty well. Hey, skinny buggo. But yeah, it was just a bit unfortunate for them. And then there was also the Centurion season, where Man City got 100 points. Well, over 100 points even in the Premier League. But also scoring over 100 goals. Considering like the team, you know, like Alex Ferguson, the Invincibles with Arsenal. It just shows how good of a team that Pep had at that time. Obviously, the budget that was spent for that was fucking astronomical. It's ridiculous how much money City have spent on their players, the whole team. Obviously, FFP have been on the cases about it. Obviously, I don't really know if they've spent more than they've earned or what, but yeah. It was a cracking season for City. Very well played for them to have won the league in such dominating fashion. But yeah, the Premier League title race only got better in 2019, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the best title races to date, if not the best. The fact that both Liverpool and City piled the pressure on massively on each other was fucking ridiculous. I mean, you could even say it was better than the one with United and City, where Aguero had won it, because obviously to be able to reach 98 and 90, Liverpool had reached 97 points, which was their highest ever fucking total points reached, and they didn't win the league. Like, if you're not winning the league on 97 points, clearly the champions have done something fucking special, which they did. Obviously the company goal against Leicester had near enough pushed City towards the title, but that match against United where they'd won 2-0 had almost, obviously it wasn't a guarantee because they could have fumbled it, but an almost guaranteed City the Premier League champions. Obviously it did end up leading to them, but they almost bottled it against Brighton after going 1-0 down. Glenn Murray header, not a penalty. Bit unfortunate. But no, Liverpool were unfortunate to not have won the league after playing so well. But realistically, if you're wanting to win the league, you have to fucking be at your best and better. Obviously this year, Liverpool are going into the new year 11 points clear at the top, I believe it is. But it's just, obviously we'll have to see 2020 if they do win it. I think they were odds on favourite at the start of the season to win it, never mind now. But with the inclusion of Liverpool, obviously one of the greatest ever moments, I only have to say 4 words really. Corner taken quickly, Origi. One of the greatest Champions League comebacks. Obviously Anfield is not a fucking, I mean realistically you're not exactly going to beat Liverpool at Anfield. So the fact that Barcelona, I personally thought Liverpool were going to win the match, but Barca would score the away goal to knock them through. So obviously they proved me wrong. But it was a fucking cracking game considering Salah had been out with a concussion, thanks to us. Salah was out with a concussion, so Origi had taken his spot, and by fucking God did he fucking make his mark. It's bad, really. Obviously Tottenham come back against Ajax was fucking, I'd say better, considering Ajax had done so well in that Champions League as of that point. You know, they'd knocked out Real Madrid, the current holders of it. They'd knocked out Juventus, one of the favourites, because of Ronaldo joining them. And they were on the verge of making it to the final. But obviously Lucas Moura with fucking a guaranteed man of the match performance to score the hat-trick and send Tottenham through to the final, which was a pretty lacklustre final, to be honest. It was pretty shit. But at the end of the day, they did well. The good players are fucked off. But yeah, it just shows that underdogs can always stand a good chance, really. Also, with Lionel Messi making it a 6th Ballon d'Or win, which obviously some people could say was controversial, because I personally think Van Dijk should have won it. simply because of how much of a difference he's made at Liverpool. Like, you know, he helped them push City to their fucking limit. He helped them win the Champions League. And I do feel like Van Dijk was robbed of it. Obviously Messi had a fantastic season, but I don't think it was as good of a season as Van Dijk had. But that's just my opinion. I'll not get into it too much. But I personally think Van Dijk should have won it. But yeah, obviously women's football had taken a massive fucking jump this year with the Women's World Cup. The US women's national team making it their 4th World Cup trophy win. I think it was 3rd in a row, if I'm correct. It was a good final, actually. The Netherlands women keeper had a fucking corker of a game. It was also a semi-final heartbreak once again for England. It's something that we're gonna have to work on, because we can't keep like fumbling like this. Like it's also the fact that like Phil Neville was like, oh, I'm going to be annoyed if we lose, but obviously I can understand he had to sympathise with the squad because the US had played a fantastic fucking game. But it's just, if you're gonna say something, fucking stick to it, really. Obviously I know you can't exactly build off of your team when they've played well. Oh fuck, I'm tired then. Bloody hell. Can't build off with your team if they've played well. But at the same time, you can't say that you'll be annoyed if they lose and then be like, oh, I'm very proud. But obviously, it's, as a manager, it's one of those things. But hopefully, both the men and women's England national teams can build from this and eventually lead to World Cup glory for both. Just have to wait and see. Speaking of World Cups, obviously there was the Rugby World Cup that England made the final for. South Africa had won that, and probably quite the surprise, considering pretty sure England were like the favourites to win it, and there was so much hype about winning it that it probably got the better of them. But I don't really know. But obviously, the Cricket World Cup, England had won that thanks to Ben Stokes, and one of the most odd moments ever, really. The fact that, like, it's a bit odd. Like, I'd hate to have been the umpire for that match, because the fact that you're having to decide whether or not you can allow the ball being thrown towards the stumps, potentially hitting the stumps, and it bouncing off the bat and going out for a 4. Obviously, I'd hate to have been an umpire for that match. But at the end of the day, obviously, it was a good win for England cricket. But yeah, obviously, it's the only World Cup win for England in the past few years. Obviously, this year's been a pretty good year. the sport. The decade as a whole has. Um, Obviously, I've getting older, so I'm able to acknowledge sport a lot better. If you get what I mean with that. Like, I don't know how to say it. I'm personally love it how the fact that I've grown older and managed to love sport more over this decade. Obviously, as a Newcastle fan, it's not been the easiest decade to deal with. You know, obviously we started off the year in the championship. We'd won the championship with, I believe, 100 plus points. So yeah, fuck you, City. And obviously, our first season back, you know, we beat Aston Villa 6-0. And the first few matches, we beat Sunderland on Halloween 5-1. We'd made the Europa League the season after. You know, there's been many great moments for both club and country for me. You know, the Tiote goal to make it 4-4 against Arsenal. Making it to the Europa League quarterfinals. Obviously, we lost to Benfica there, but it's not been the easiest, especially more recently with the struggles. See, I'm gonna end up fucking talking about this, and I guarantee there'll be some Sunderland fans giving us fucking grief. But it's just the fact of, like, obviously we've not got the worst owner in the world, I'll say that right now. But it's the fact of, like, we had... Obviously it's going to sound hypocritical me saying all this, but I do believe Rafa is a bit overrated considering what we'd fucking... how much praise he'd received from Newcastle fans especially. But to be honest, to be able to take what many pundits had said, a championship squad, and be able to finish in 10th place with said squad, it speaks volumes as to how good of a manager Rafa really is. Like, with such limited budget as well. It's one of those things. It's obviously, once again, it's a woulda, coulda, shoulda moment. Lots of ifs and buts, but at the end of the day, he's obviously gone. We've got Steve Bruce in at the minute, who is doing a lot better than a lot of us would have thought, which I hate to admit that, but he has. I can't lie about that. You know, we also had the win against City. That was a pretty good moment for us. Once again, we got relegated. It's obviously it's been a shit 10 years. I'm not even gonna lie, as a Newcastle fan. I mean, mainly just in more recent years because of all the bother with Mike Ashley and stuff. As a whole, though, it's been a decent 10 years. Obviously, for England, football started off decent, then just went to shit, and then now more recently it's picked up. Obviously we've qualified for the Euros. We will probably be one of the favourites for the final, maybe even winning it, I don't know. I think Germany will, France definitely will, considering their World Cup win. I think Italy have qualified, I'm pretty sure Italy have, yeah. Spain might, I don't really know. It'll be a good tournament. I'll be doing probably do match day vlogs for it. So yeah, there you go, a little spoiler for the summer. But yeah, I'll be going back to doing regular Football News Fridays this Friday. But yeah, this has been my review of the decade from 2011 to the current day, New Year's Eve 2019. Hope you all have a good New Year, and here's to a good 2020. Thank you for watching this video. If you've watched it all, thank you very much. Obviously, it's not exactly a normal video that I would do, but considering it's 1 hour 15 minutes long, I can only record up to an hour, and to be honest, I'd have to watch it all back to make sure it's all perfect. And considering I'm a bit lazy, can't be asked to do that. But thank you for watching, if you have. Thank you for the support I've gotten in 2019. Obviously, I've started doing this in the summer. Obviously, it has kind of slowed down a bit, but it's because I'm a bit more busy, so I'm not able to stream it as often as I would like. But thank you for your support in 2019. I'll be definitely carrying on with this in 2020. What I'll probably do is do like me little walkthroughs as streams, because it's a lot easier for me to do, plus I can do it more often. Because obviously with my FIFA career mode and my Last of Us one, obviously I was really enjoying FIFA career mode, but I didn't want to play too much ahead and record too much in case there was something like you'd maybe suggested for me to do for like the next match. But if I was already finishing the fucking season by the time I'd uploaded the fucking match that happened in November, then obviously there's going to be some odd things to do with it. But I will be most definitely doing walkthroughs of games. I've got San Andreas, Vice City and GTA 3 on my PlayStation, so I'll be getting into doing that and walkthroughs for that. I'll probably branch a bit into wrestling in the new year. So I'm a reasonably big fan of wrestling. I've enjoyed it. Obviously, I've been a bit on and off with it, but over the past few years, I've kind of been a bigger fan of it. So I don't know. I might start something in the new year in wrestling. I don't really know. I'll definitely be going for football and gaming. That's two guarantees: football and gaming. So I'll be sticking with for the new year. I might branch into wrestling. Just have to wait and see. Football Manager, for those wondering, I'm wanting to do something, but I don't think my laptop will be able to stream the game as well as running it, because even then it's a struggle to run the game. And considering when I recorded the GTA, it buffered quite a lot, so it really worries me what it'll be like if I stream it. So I don't know. I might stick a stream up for Football Manager at one point, but it'll probably, because I mean what I've been doing is kind of been playing the PlayStation as well as doing Football Manager, so I'm not exactly fully committing myself to playing Football Manager. But I'll more than likely try and see what I can do with it. Just because my laptop's a bit shit. It's only like a fucking HP stream. It's not even supposed to be for gaming. But yeah. Probably starting to doing that, yeah. I'm wanting to get my other laptop fixed, because my laptop down here this thing. It's got a cracked screen. I've been meaning to get it fixed for a while. I'll probably save a bit of money, get that fixed, and then I'll be able to do more PC gaming and stuff. Like Football Manager, Black Ops 3 Custom Zombies, World at War Custom Zombies. I don't think what other games I've got. Golf with friends, I might even start doing that, or just golf by myself. Because I don't think my friends would want to be buying it. I've just bought Saints Row 4, re-elected, and New Star Manager for my PlayStation as well. So I'll more than likely do Saints Row with a friend. Don't know who, but I'll probably do that because it will be quite funny to do that. So might see what I can do with that. But anyways, thank you very much for everyone who's clicked on my videos, who's watched my videos, my streams, who's liked them, subscribed, shared, whatever. Thank you very much to all of you that have supported me this year, including on my YouTube, Instagram, at Little Big Man. It's on the comments there. Exact same spelling for my YouTube and my PlayStation. Before someone gives me grief, I was in a hurry. That's why it's spelled wrong. I've just kind of stuck with it from there. But thank you very much, everyone, for supporting me in 2019. I'm going to go for it a lot bigger in 2020. Because I'm hoping to be able to get a bit more time. Summer, definitely. I will be fucking plowing through everything. That's when I'll have the most time. So I'll have finished for college for the summer, and I will probably have more time at home because it won't be as busy at work. But anyways, thank you very much for all your support in 2019. Thank you for watching this stream if you have. Thank you for watching this long if you've watched it all. Thank you for listening to my review on the Decades events in sport. I look forward to seeing you all in 2020. Peace.